And we're out again, back in the woodlands. Been a while since I've been to this one. I've done a few camps here, a couple of videos here I believe. Lovely place, lovely pine trees, plenty of moss. Really nice place to be at. It's been a good trek in, it's been a good walk, and to be honest with you, I'm pretty shattered. So I can't wait to get the tent up and get a cup of tea on the go. Oh, wow, how time flies, eh? Work's died down now, and I've got more time on my hands, so it's good to get back out here as much as we can, and it's good to have you along. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, so I'm going to make the most of the time off and get out into these beautiful woods with you guys and have a lovely relaxing time. So that's what my videos are all about, really. A bit about kit and more about relaxation than anything, just appreciation of the beautiful woodlands that we have and to respect them. Right, let's get the groove on. Not too far away. See you in a minute. Whew. Phew, it's good to get that off my back. So anyway, find an ideal place. It's lovely and flat here. I've just got to clear out a few fallen branches, but that's to be expected. And yeah, today I'll be using, as you can see on the front of my pack here, the French Army F1 tent. And this is the being the F1, this is the canvas version. I've got a YouTube video on my channel there that's using the F2, which is the nylon version. So we're going old school today in the canvas tent using the F1. I've had this tent a fair while. I've had it longer than I had the F2 version. I bought this back when it's got to be about 8 years ago, when I bought my Polish Lavu. I bought it at the same time. I got both tents from Military Mart. So anyway, yeah, I've been out in this a few times. I've not got any on video, but yeah, it's a really nice tent. I'm sure you guys know that. I've seen plenty of YouTube videos on this tent, but yeah, there's plenty of videos on there because it is that good and old school, which is always a bonus with me anyway. So let's get this set up, and I'm gasping. I want a nice cup of tea. So let's carry on. So here's the F1 tent. That's the bag that it comes in. I haven't changed anything there. So that's that. It's not that heavy really. And for a ground sheet, ground cloth, I'm going to be using an IPK sheet. Individual protection kit, I'm going to be using that as a ground sheet. Basically it's just rubberized fabric, and it's ideal for that really. What you get with the F1 tent is you get 2 sets of poles, which are needed for either end of the pup tent itself. Of course you do, and they are the same poles that are provided with the Polish Lavu, you know, with the typical canvas button pack. bag or whatever you want to call it, and 3 sections of pole that interlock with one another. Yeah, so you get 2 lots of that. Oh yes, another thing is, with the 2 sets of poles, you also get the 2 sets of tent pegs, and they're like the military version they're like bent. They got like a bent into like a curved shape, and they slot down into these poles here, obviously to reduce noise and, you know, for the military, save them clunking about. But I save adding extra weight. I've brought my own pegs, done away with those, kept them aside, the original ones. That's the French Army F1 set up already, all done. Didn't take too long, 10 minutes tops. Today I'm using a meth stove. It's always meths with me, 9 times out of 10. Polymath Products Phantom stove, nice and simple, dead light, ultra light. And sadly enough, the last time I checked, they don't make these anymore, which is a shame. The stove itself is just like a wrapped carbon roll in there that absorbs the fuel. So thirsty. Makes for thirsty work, does camping. Pour a bit on. Don't need a lot. Okay. Let's get this lit and get a nice drink on. Sit straight away. So easy to light. Okay. So hard to do talk and do this at the same time. Multitasking just ain't my thing. Right, put that on there. The lid on, and we'll have a nice drink in no time. Just got it round. There we go. Right, we can go and have a look round the tent. 1, 2, 3 points down that side and over the back, 1 point there, and over the front here another point there. Obviously during the night I'll take that ground sheet and tuck it underneath. Same for the other side. You've got 1, 2 and 3, and then of course you've got the skirt, I'll call it the skirt, or the little canopy across the storm flap, and I've got that pulled out in 3 places, 1, 2 and 3. It's all really well made, as you'd imagine, being ex-military stuff. Mine had definitely been used when I received mine. It was in decent nick, is in good shape. But it's a fine tent. If you like your old school stuff, then these really are, you're onto a winner. Each corner you got your loops, and you'd also got like a stainless or aluminium ring there. Some of the rings on mine were missing, so I've replaced those with you know, like a key ring, you know, something that you put your keys on, like the ring, and you slot them on. So that's what I've done. And then my own tent pegs. So you got like 3 zips. The one I've just moved out the way that way. I'll push the other one, unzip the other one, and then the center one and each doorway, which you've got a doorway either side, fastens up out the way like that. You've got this loop here, and there's a toggle at the back to hold the doorway open. All these pup tents are very similar. Being canvas, it's typically very dark in here. At the top for ventilation, you can see the top of the doorways, both ends. This is you've got a fine bug netting, if you can see there, like a very fine mesh, and mine's been repaired. It's been professionally repaired, so they've done a decent job of it. And you've also got down here, you've got more ventilation options, because all this falls down, and behind it you've got your mesh there. So not only does it bring some extra light into the tent, and it brings ventilation also. But I'm going to have these open, and I'll keep them open throughout the night. But yeah, it's a very spacious tent, very nice, lovely. I smell the canvas, which is a lovely smell. Whether love it or hate it, it's a good job I love it. Yeah, if it starts to rain, I can soon get in here. We can get in here and get all cozy and lovely and warm, and we can listen to the bird song and the pitter patter on the canvas of the rainfall. But as of yet, there's hardly been anything. There's been a few sprinkles of rain, nothing to talk about really. Anyway, I think that cup of tea should be done by now. Water will be boiled. Alright, so now you've had a quick look round in this tent. It is really, it's identical to the F2, the nylon version. The only difference is this is the canvas version. Say I'd call it a 4-season tent, definitely. It's like a single walled, obviously, tent, and it's got like a built-in ground sheet, same as the F2, and that's like a I don't know, like a heavy-duty sort of rubberized nylon feel to it, like a heavy-duty nylon. The ground sheet is. I was lucky enough to be able to put it up and season it properly, rather than chemically treat this. So I put it up. I think it was out the back garden for about 3 weeks, just over 3 weeks, and there's plenty of downpours. I'm sure you know, like canvas, when it gets wet, it contracts the fibres themselves. They shrink down with the expansion with water, and any stitching will expand. So you've got like contraction and expansion. So any seam work like that, with that happening, should in theory make the tent waterproof where it's been sewn together by the seamstress. And obviously not one, like one downpour isn't going to be sufficient. You want to get it out there, get it out, I don't know, 4 or 5 downpours, thorough soaking on the canvas, and all where it's all seamed and stitched together. That's where you really need to concentrate. So get the hose pipe on all the seams, make sure they're thoroughly drenched, and then make sure the tent thoroughly dries out. And you want to repeat that process as much as you can, really. There's no like set perfect amount of time, so I suppose more the better, really. I'd say that, I don't know, a minimum of like a good 4 cycles of like a complete soaking through the seams, all over the seams and everything, and left thoroughly dry out. So like 4 times, I should say that'd be sufficient enough to season the tent. But it's nice to be able to do that naturally, rather than using chemicals all the time, or seam sealant. I know, like there's, I think, what was it they used to do years ago on canvas tents? I think they used to use like an old candle and rub along the seams and things like that. You can get waxes and stuff, but that's what I've done with this tent anyway, to season it properly. And it's never leaked on me as of yet. Anyway, time for that cup of tea, don't you think? A well-earned cup of tea. Oh yes. Oh, it's lovely. Found these lovely tea bags. If you like your cups of tea, that is. I found these lovely tea bags by Yorkshire Tea. Well, my partner did actually. They're by Yorkshire Tea. They're malted biscuit flavour. It's just like you've been dunking your biscuits in there, sticking your biscuits in, and you've had like a packet. You know what I mean? It's not too sweet though, but that lovely taste and smell of malted biscuits. It's gorgeous. I recommend you try it if you like that sort of thing. Very nice. Oh yeah, sorry, and cheers. Here's to you, all the very best. So now, I think all we can do now is just sit back, relax, zone out, maybe reflect on things a bit, and enjoy the countryside, enjoy the beautiful woodlands. So, cheers everybody. Here's to your good health. So yeah, over the last few weeks, I've been reflecting a lot on my past, a lot to do with my work history. You know, how I started work and where I started and where I ended up, where I've ended up, I should say. What it was. See, I've always been pretty like artistic in my ways. I always loved drawing and things like that along those lines. So obviously, the Black Country, you may or may not know, one of the things that it was very famous for, well, there's quite a few things actually, but one of the things that it was very famous for a good few years back was its glass industry, its lead crystal production, glass blowing, glass cutting, engraving, all along those lines. And there was loads and loads of these glass places around, and I must have worked at I don't know, 95% of them over the years. I started on glass cutting, and you know, you got like it's quite a skilled job really, well, a very skilled job, cutting away on these diamond wheels, water going over the top of them, you know, like a coolant, and doing all the decorative patterns that you only know too well into, like, you know, the crisscross and up the sides of the glasses or decanters, and the stars on the feet. You know, you cut glass, you cut lead crystal when you see it. well, basically I was doing all that sort of stuff as a kid, and well, I've ended up like, I'm jumping ahead now up to date, like I'm a machinist now, but I'm going to tell you how I ended up getting into like programming machinery and a machinist in general. Anyway, so I was there as a young lad cutting my lead crystal, cutting the decorative patterns into it, and this one day a job happened to come up, and I saw it in a local newspaper, and it was for obviously another firm to what I was already working at, and this one was exceptionally famous, one of the last to be around here, to be honest, one of the last big ones. So anyway, the advertisement was for some name I'd never heard of. I thought that was really strange. I thought, well, you know what, you ain't got anything to lose, it's all good practice. I was a kid, so like, if I don't get the job, at least I've got the experience, you know, with the interview, you know, because it's always pretty nerve-wracking. Well, I don't find it nerve-wracking nowadays, but as a kid, you know, it's all new and, you know, going into the unknown. So anyway, good experience. So I phone up, and okay, I get the interview, all good and all well and good, and I go through this place and see all the glass blowing and the glass cutting and all the usual stuff, and then we head down to this basement. I thought, well, okay, was this some kind of dungeon or what? Literally was. Anyway, you know, like, you picture like lead crystal, and that is like a very skilled job, and you know, some very talented people do that. You can imagine like a little old man, can't you? I was carving away on his stone, on his diamond wheel, cutting away like a proper craftsman, you know. So this is the glasses on the wheel, and he's cutting away like this, putting the patterns in and whatever, like I used to do. Anyway, you'll see where I mentioned that. I went down into this basement, down in this dungeon, I called it, and the gaffer, or the foreman at the time, took me down. He says, you know, what do you think to these then? He got these machines, these great big tank machines, huge, like they were like tanks, you know, they're literally that big. Well, they seemed that big to me as a kid, like, you know, it's like, what the hell are these, like? And each one of these machines had an arm inside of it, and it had like a vacuum to it, so it sucked the glass onto it, and there was a diamond wheel above it. And what this company was doing, what they were doing was like mass producing cut crystal. And here's everybody thinking they're getting like a work of art or whatever, on a piece of cut glass. Sometimes you were, but you know, like basic, like wine glasses and things like that, and you know, stuff like that. A lot of it was mass produced on these machines. Like, I can't remember whether these machines, they got like 6 or 8 arms at a time, like, and you'd program them to put they'd cover the profile of the glass, and they cut into the glass, like 8 at a time. I think it was 8 anyway, and they'd rotate round and cut up, cut. So it was pretty fascinating. And there's people thinking, when they're going around the world famous factory shop, you know, that they were getting a piece of cut glass by some elderly old man that's spent all of his life gaining his skills on a diamond wheel, cutting these patterns in. Oh my goodness me. Anyway, so cutting it short, I got that job, and I started like just operating them and picking up bits at a time on the programming side of these machines. I think they were called Poting machines. I think they were from Germany originally. The original ones, the first lot we had, they were Poting, Walter Poting, I think they were. I'm probably not pronouncing it right, Poting, I don't know. And then I think they ended up as Pro Glass. Those are like the updated versions. But yeah, I spent a good few years doing days, nights, weekends, 12-hour shifts doing that, and learning, getting to understand code and programming. So that was like my first step into machining and stuff like that side of it, rather than, you know, like hands-on, skilled. Well, programming skilled in its own right, but yeah, I was just blown away how they mass producing these glasses, and you know, nobody really knew about it. It's something that was hidden down in the basement for a reason, wasn't it? So that was one thing I can think about and makes me chuckle. Another thing is like years and years on ahead. Like I haven't spent that many years, you know, in one set place as such. I've had a fair few jobs, and yeah, one of the places, one of the worst places probably the worst place I ever worked at. I don't know, it's a good 15 years ago, something like that. There was like, you got the women in the office, and then you got the, obviously men, it was all men that were on the shop floor, just happened to be at that particular factory. I won't say the name of the company, obviously, and I won't say what we produced, but it wasn't lead crystal or anything like along those lines. It was a factory, that's all we need to know. And these women had to come across on the shop floor to where we were to go to the women's toilets, as I remember. And this one day, this rather large lady went to the toilet. So what? Take no notice, carry on. And she came across the shop floor. 5 minutes passed, and she came back out, all red in the face, streaming her eyes. She was crying her eyes up, and she went through to the main office. And we was all like, "Oh, what on earth's happened there? You know, what's wrong? You know." Quite worrying, really, when somebody comes running out of the toilet crying. You wonder what on earth's wrong with them. But anyway, this will show you the mentality of the workplace as well. It's a shame it's in a lot of workplaces, really. But anyway, it was like a lockdown then. Basically, we were sectioned off. There was nobody to come onto the shop floor from out the offices, and we were told that we were going to all individually be interviewed by the police, and the police were coming. Like, what on earth? You know, what on earth's happened here? Good God, what? You know. And so the police did turn up, and they started interviewing us. But might I add, they didn't interview anybody out the offices. No, we were sectioned off. We weren't to be. The shop floor was to be kept away from us. We were like the naughty boys, if you want to call it. Because we happen to get our hands dirty for a living. Naturally, we're just like cavemen. Yeah, right. So anyway, that's the mentality of the workplace. So nobody at the offices is allowed on the shop floor. We're to be interviewed, us shop floor workers. And the police had come and they were interviewing us. So as it happens, one of the guys at the office, elderly chap, well, not elderly, I'd say, he was in his, I don't know, no, not elderly at all, late 50s, early 60s. He obviously we found this out later on. He said, like in the office, he says, "Oh, I'm not feeling too well. I've got to go home." So like, he went off home, and then he phoned in, admitting to it. And what had happened was, the dirty devil, was disgusting. There was what had happened. There was a lid, you know, the toilets. You got like the main lid, and then you got the lid that you sit on. Right, so well, in between like the main lid and the lid that you sit on, she'd sat down obviously to powder her nose. She powdered her nose apparently, and the lid had cracked, as they do sometimes. They wear out, and it cracked, and obviously it had come away, and between the two lids, somewhere between the lids, there was a camera lens, and from the camera lens was a wire leading down to the back of the toilet and a transmitter. Right, so you know what I'm getting at, don't you? It's a dirty animal. So obviously he phoned up and had admitted to it. The office worker had phoned up and admitted to it, and you know, it's absolutely shocking. To this day, I can't. You know, did that really happen? You know, why on earth? Well, it shows how sick some people are. Why on earth? Of all things to do, is like watch. Why did you want to watch somebody go to the toilet? what a, you know, some truly sick people out there, and I mean, good God. But it was like the mentality behind it as well, you know, like nobody's allowed on the shop floor by the shop floor workers. You're being interviewed, you lot. None of us are being interviewed in the office, when it was the office worker that had done it and was, you know, had been watching the women on the toilet. Bloody horrendous. What a place that was. As far as I know, it doesn't exist anymore, and yeah, rightly so. God, I think there was an article in the newspaper about this big on it. I don't know. Anyway, that's a long, obviously, that's, you know, what's been on my mind over the last few weeks or what have you, since I recorded my last video. Yeah, you do reflect on your work history. Some of it, you know, you can laugh about, and other things like that, it's just like, it's just disgusting, you know, crazy. But yeah, I'm still like a machine operator now. I don't no longer do much programming anymore, as much as I used to, thank goodness. Anyway, that's my thoughts of this wild camp. Well, I've got to finish this lovely cup of tea, this malted biscuity tea or whatever it is. It's delicious. I'll finish that off and think about doing some tea, some dinner. What have we got? We've got smoked salmon. No, we've got salmon fillets. I've got 2 salmon fillets, and I've got mushroom stir fry. So that's smashing. I look forward to that. I'm getting pretty hungry now. Lovely little woodland this is. One that I usually hammock camp in, to be honest. But yeah, very rare that I bring a tent here for some reason. There's plenty of flat spots, so it's fine. You know, one thing that really gets on my nerves is that I keep on hearing, well, seeing and reading places like Facebook and all that, and on the TV, you know, some respect has to be earned. A whole load of crap, in my opinion. What a load of rubbish. There should be a level of respect. Of course, this is my opinion. It should be a level of respect to start with. So after all, we're all human beings, aren't we? I mean, like a level of decency to start with. Even if you don't know that person, then there should already be a level of respect there. And oh my god, just some absolute rubbish. That's one of the things that I keep on seeing. Respect has to be earned. What a load of rubbish. Of course it doesn't. It should be there from the off, from the go, just through decency and being a good person and caring about others, even if you don't even know those people. I'm sure you good people out there agree. I'm definitely sure there's others that don't, because you're the sort of people that put that sort of stuff and think that sort of nonsense. But you good people, I know, good decent people, nature loving, care for the environment and care for others, as you should do, as we do. getting the light's going very slowly now. I'm getting a little bit peckish. I'll be doing the evening meal in a bit. I'm just shoving that down my neck. There shouldn't be so much food this time. I haven't gone so overboard. Well, I don't think I have anyway. I think what it is, it's the plate that's really small that I use, and it makes it look like that I've got loads, you know what I mean? Right. I'm going to sit and have a think and shut my eyes again for a bit. But some lovely sunlight coming through the trees now. Beautiful. Lighting up the woodland. That golden light. It's always good on an evening, I think, to have a wander around where you camped. I really enjoy it. I think it makes you appreciate the woodlands all the more, you know, having a little stroll about. Just like this time now, just before the sun starts to set, or as the sun starts to set. Things are really calm here anyway, but this time of day, the evening, it takes it to a new level. The calmness and the serenity of a beautiful woodland, English woodland. Ah. Let's have a walk a little bit further down. Getting some of this sunlight. Lovely, lovely. We're over there somewhere, camped over there. See the tent, just about there. Say it's not perfectly camouflaged, but it really doesn't need to be here. It's off the trails, it's pretty dark in here, you can't see in. There's no need to worry about anything. Not that I do worry about anything anyway. Ah. Good for your lungs, that lovely fresh air. Anyway, I think, yeah, I'm thinking about food, surprise, surprise. Next time you see me, I'll be cooking the evening meal and getting that down my neck. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to continue with my walk for a little bit, have a mooch around, as we say around here, and then yeah, see you in a bit. Okay, let's get cooking. So hungry. Got it. Right. Let's drag it forwards a bit. Right. So, first of all, in Black Country Woodsman's cooking class, oh my, anything but. A little bit of oil, a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. So I'm going to do the stir fry first and then do the salmon second. Let's put that on without it falling off. And plenty in here. Surprise, surprise. Try not to get it all over the woodland floor. Let's reduce it down a little bit and add some more. There. Smells good already. Oh, I'm so hungry. Just that sizzle alone, I know you can't smell it, but just that sizzle alone makes your stomach go. Our mushrooms smell great when they're in the frying pan. Soon shrinks down, so I'll add some more. Stay. Oh, the smell's divine. Oh. You smell that. Wowee. It smells like there's onion in here as well. Lovely. White mushrooms, white cabbage, bean sprouts, green cabbage, onion. There's carrots, obviously. Very nice. Very healthy too. Stir fry's just about done. Put that in the bowl without spilling it. Look at that, lovely and juicy. Juicy goodness. Oh my goodness, such juicy goodness. Don't want to waste any of that. Okay. Try and get it all out because I'm going to cook the, obviously I'm going to cook the salmon in it. Right, so what I need to do with the salmon is get it nice and dry so it cooks nice. So somehow I need to absorb all this, all the moisture up, or so I'm told, with some kitchen roll. Get this as dry as I can get it, so I can get the skin nice and crispy, apparently. The other one. Sure, it's lovely and dry. Thing is, I've got nowhere else to put it. I'll put it alongside the other one. So I dried the one, dried the other one. How gorgeous that looks. Oh, nice. Really, what I could do with doing is drying the tray out as well. So I need to put the seasoning, like the salt on. Some sea salt, I don't want to get the fish wet again now, do I? Try not to. Try your best. Okay, so without dropping it on the floor, there's one fillet and the other one. Now time to get the salt and pepper, sea salt, pepper. Where have I put that? Plenty of salt on there. I was talking about seasoning canvas earlier on, and now I'm talking about seasoning salmon. Alright, rub all that in. Plenty in there. Both sides. Whoa, now that is plenty. Rub it all in. I talk like I know what I'm doing. I'm definitely no cook, but hey, it'll taste wonderful out here. Alright, plenty of salt on. Now put that down without standing on it. Get that back on the flame again. Warm up some olive oil again, like that. Yeah. Oh yeah. Now we're talking. Right. Nearly ready for the salmon. So I'm going to cook it skin side down, and I'm going to cook it for around 4 to 5 minutes on the skin side, and then flip it over about a minute or 2 minutes on that side. So this is about ready. Yeah. 2. Lovely jubbly. Just let those sit there for about 4 to 5 minutes, like I said, and flip them over, get them nice and crispy on the skin side of the fish. And I can't wait because I'm absolutely ravenous. Lovely. That smells absolutely divine. Phantom stove is doing a fine job. Another 3 minutes or so and I'll flip them over. The skin is absolutely lovely and crispy, golden brown. So a couple of minutes, well 2 or 3 minutes on this side, not so long, and we're ready to get this down my neck. Just look at that. Gorgeousness. Nearly done now. I can't wait much longer, to be honest. They really do look fantastic. Look at those. And they smell it as well. They smell amazing. Oh, all that protein and goodness. Those lovely fish oils. Wow. Look. My goodness. Wow. Oh, let's try this. It smells delicious. I say it every time with all the food that I cook, that it's amazing. But wow, this really does. Oh. Oh, the taste. The salmon melts like butter in your mouth. That is divine. Oh, and accompanied by the mushroom stir fry. It takes it to new levels. That really is. I recommend it. Oh, salmon steaks and mushroom stir fry. Oh, it's epic. So crispy as well. I'm pleased I did that just right. Oh, it's gorgeous. Oh, I've got to show you how beautiful it really is. Look at that for a chunk of salmon. Gorgeous. Piping hot salmon. It's so tender. Oh, very juicy. Right. As always, I'm not going to prolong your suffering and let you eat all of this. I'll get back to you a bit later on when I've wolfed this down and chilled out after this and shut my eyes for 5, 10, 15 minutes. So the next time you'll probably see me, I'll be getting into the tent, into the F1. So looking forward to that. As always, it's very tiring while camping, in a good way. Good for the soul. Mind, body and soul. Right. Catch you later. Take care. It's about 10:30 now. As you see, I'm all snug, lovely and warm. The temperature out there is probably about 1 degree, so it has the temperature's dropped considerably. I've got the one vent open along the back here, and I might shut that down in a bit if it gets much cooler. There's no condensation build up in here at all because canvas is very good for that. Something that I wanted to mention is that going to the toilet and camping is always it's a bit of a pain if you're having to get out in the night, or if you're in a hammock it's even worse, like having to get out your hammock and go to the toilet, or say in this tent it'd be an absolute nightmare, to be honest. I used to carry bottles of pee in, like like the ones that you'd just be supplied with like at a hospital or whatever. And I found they're like really bulky because they're like a solid object, aren't they? Or they take up a lot of room in your bag. And these last few camps, I've been using one of these. It's made by Nalgene. Whether you can see that, it's made by Nalgene, and it's called a canteen. And basically, as you can see, it's like a really thick, heavy-duty plastic bag, and it's how much does it take? It says up to about 96 ounces. So I don't know anybody that'll that'll do that much pee, other than cattle. But anyway, it's got a nice wide neck on it as well, so there's no problem you know, comfortably get inside there and do your business and seal it back up. But the really good thing about these is, like, you know, it takes no room in your pack, no room whatsoever. You know, like, look, it'll crumple right down. It's ideal. You don't even know you got it. There's no weight to it whatsoever, and I think it's ideal to carry one of these now. I got this off Amazon. I recommend that anyway for your toilet duties, for your number ones, for you doing your pee in your tent and not having to get out, or your hammock or whatever. I think these are really excellent and definitely worth the money. I can't remember how much they were now, but they're on Amazon anyway, and they're very, very easy to get hold of. Far better than the you know, the normal pee bottles, solid things, let's say, that take up so much room in your rucksack and that. Anyway, lovely and cozy. So tired. That salmon was delicious. Oh God, I'm definitely going to do that one again. I'll do that at home. It was so nice. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to say good night to you all now, and I hope you're enjoying watching. It's lovely having you join me and watch my videos. I appreciate you all, each and every one of you. So I'm going to say good night now, and hopefully I'll see you in the morning, and hopefully I might have some rain in the night. That'd be nice, especially on the canvas tent. That muted sound of the rainfall on the canvas is very soothing. So anyway, enough of me going on. I'm going to get some sleep now. Good night then. See you in the morning. 3 AM and finally get some rain. Lovely. I knew I'd get some. I can't do a camp without getting rain. This. As long as it stops when I have to pack the stuff away. So listen to that. Morning. Oh, I had a good night's sleep, slept really well. It rained right throughout the night, just gently, not really anything really heavy. So I've got to get a move on today. I've got other things planned, unfortunately, so I've got to get up, make a nice cup of tea or a hot chocolate, and get out of here. I've just also heard the landowner go past on a quad bike, I think, so all the more reason to
get a move on. Oh, I forgot to say, I'm in a Dura 2 sleeping bag and a Thermarest Neo Air sleeping mat, and just a inflatable pillow. Can't remember who that's by now. But anyway, yeah, I've got to make a move. Oh, it's about 7 o'clock. Oh, it's still very, very gentle. Well, just spotting me rain. Nothing bad really. So yeah, let's get up, huh? It's horrible, isn't it, having to get up in the morning, especially when you're wild camping. Oh, so cozy in here. Right, here we go.
Something has been gnawing at my plate throughout the night. Oh well, it had served me well, that plate had. There's a really fine mist in the woods. Well, there is most mornings in the woods, especially this time of year. A magical mist. Right, I've just put the stove on. I'm doing my tea, well, I'm going to have hot chocolate actually, I think. And I'll pack the stuff away and we can make a move. I've heard plenty of quad bikes around this morning. They've been circling like the perimeter. Well, not circling, they just happen to have been going around the perimeter of this small woodland. So yeah, it's all the more reason to make a move early. So let's have a final walk round, an appreciation of the beautiful woodlands that we have. Yeah, oh yeah, I forgot to say the French tent, the F1, it has white KK zippers on there. Only I know they're really good, so just thought I'd give that a mention. Yeah, luckily the rain has stopped. There's a bit of blue sky up through the canopy. I can see it. There's a bit of blue sky, so hopefully we're not going to get caught out in the rain. Right, so the next time you'll see me, hopefully the tent will all be packed away, everything will be packed, and we'll be ready to make a move. We're all packed away, it didn't take me too long. That's where we were, down there. All down there. Leave no trace as always. And it's the sad time that I've got to put my pack on and we've got to walk out of here. another wild camp come to an end. Great time. The French military F1 tent, canvas tent. I highly recommend that to anybody that's considering buying one. They're really cool if you like your retro stuff like I do, and obviously they're getting more and more difficult to get your hands on, so I dare say there's only going to be a limited supply of these. I don't know whether, I doubt it if they still make them, I doubt it very much, but yeah, so a real bargain tent, and of high quality, as long as you can get your hands on a grade A if possible. Anyway, it's been lovely having you join me again. I appreciate all of you, and I'll say goodbye now then until the next one, which will be very soon hopefully, eh? So all the very best and take care. It's Black Country Woodsman over and out. See ya.